So guys, at this point I've sent out several emails. I mean, if you just recently enrolled, obviously you haven't gotten those. Did I get my email list from WebAdvisor? Yeah.
What if our email was wrong on WebAdvisor and we need to within like the past 2 days?
You can shoot me an email and I can send you whatever I sent out, but it
Okay.
was basically everything we've already talked about. But, you know, since I have access to emails now, I try to give out a lot of emails before the semester starts, so people know what textbook they need to get and whatever, right? If you've been enrolled already for a while and you've never gotten an email from me, that's an issue. You want to double check, make sure WebAdvisor has it right. Make sure you didn't put in there Gmail instead of Gmail. You got an A or something. It's probably never going to get to you. Or somebody else is going to get it on the gmail.com. I don't know. Yes, maybe? Okay, so double check on that. Let us finish this dude. So I want to finish this guy first, and then I'll open it up to if you have any homework questions. Wow, that was zoomed in. Okay. All right, so last time we left off here. All right, so now we got to still do this guy here. So, anybody have a suggestion on how to solve that sucker for n? Why is it like doubly gross for n? There's a square root on it, and it's on the bottom. So we can take care of on the bottom immediately.
We multiply by n squared?
No, because I don't have an n squared. What is it that I want to cancel out and have it show up on the other side? Square root of n. So I can multiply both sides by square root of n. That kills my fraction, right? Which is always a really satisfying thing to do. Right? You guys, when we first show you you can kill fractions and equations, you try to kill them everywhere you see them. No, it needs an equation where you're allowed to do stuff like that. Right? So if I multiply both sides by square root of n, you get that bad boy. Just to remind you guys, I gave you that sheet that's got like the outline of the whole course on one side, but the other side is all the Greek symbols. So I finally decided, why haven't I been doing this forever? Because that's part of what gets people down, is all the Greek letters. They're just letters. They're just variables. Stats wanted to be all, look at us, we're amazing, so we use Greek letters there. Sort of like Roman numerals for the Super Bowl, right? So somebody help me out. So I've almost got my n piece by itself. Why is the n thing not by itself? No, don't worry about that yet. Why is the thing with n in it not by itself yet? Stupid E. So then I'm just going to divide. Right. So this is about the level of algebra that you need to be able to be comfortable with. Right? Just dealing with letters, solving equations for certain variables. That is something we're going to have to do just every now and again. And now you can finally do what the one poor dude's been trying to get me to do for a while. What do you do to get rid of that square root? Square both sides. So I'm pretty sure I said last time, but just so you know, these two equations on number 3 and 4, they are both equations we're going to use this semester. So right now we don't need to know what they mean yet, but they're just variables. I should be able to manipulate them, right? We made them. We should be able to make them do what we want. Okay. So what about this one? How do I find the average of any set of numbers? What do I do?
Divide.
Add them all up, and then divide by how many there are, right? If you got an answer of 17, why is that bad? How do you know immediately that's wrong if you got an average of 17? That's higher than the highest day. What the hell? You know the average is supposed to be somewhere in the Middle. It makes sense, right? Okay. But I get people that do that. They'll just do their work, they make a mistake, they get 17, then circle it, and they keep going, no! Interpret what you just did. That can't possibly, you did something wrong. So stop and do it over. So what do you guys get when you add all these up? 39. So divided by
5.
And here's a cool trick. Why is division by 10 easy? How do you divide by 10? You just move the decimal back once, right? Because our number system is based on 10. So any work with 10 is easy. That's not a 10 though. So how do I make it a 10 on the bottom? I just double. So how do you divide by 5? Double it, and then move the decimal back one place. Do you have to do what I just said? No. You can say, Jeff, I got this thing. You ever heard of it? It's a calculator. It's neat. I don't care. We're the humans. We created the calculators. We should know some of this shit to be able to do it ourselves. So if you multiply by 2, 78 over 10 is 7.8. Bam. Is that all right?
Yeah, that right.
All right. And you didn't have to do what I just did. If you just divided 39 by 5, you got 7.8. I just want to show you some stuff you could do to be quicker than a calculator sometimes. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me how they did the last one?
Oh, how I did this one?
Yeah, how'd you do the last one?
81 plus 72 plus X equals 80.
Almost. I love it. So we're using algebra because what's algebra's biggest draw? What's the best thing about algebra is it's able to handle when there's a part I don't know. That's really what algebra fundamentally does for us, right? Like that weird-ass question about the dude that put money in the bank and he forgot how much money. I'm like, I wish I had that problem. Was it 10,000 or 20? I would know exactly. Yes, you guys don't remember that problem? I put 10,000 in this one, and I don't know how much to put in the other one. You know, it's like, who is this person? But in this case, if I just knew the third test, how would I get the average? I would add up all 3 test scores and divide by. That's the thing you left out. So what algebra does is, I know the third test score. I know it. It's X. So then how do I find the average of those 3? 81 plus 72 plus X divided by 3, and I know that's supposed to be 80. Yeah. How we doing? Did anybody do it and start it off a different way? You still have to solve that equation, but did somebody else do it a different way? Let me ask you this. If 3 numbers average, oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah, I was just like starting numbers from like 70, 80, and I started going up like 1 each.
Okay, so here's the neat thing. Guess and check is never good. Almost never. Almost certainly not good. But I appreciate that. That is a possible answer you can use in real life. Fortunately, not quite in real life yet. But I'm not going to enjoy just guess and check too much. Because the answer could be 78.3496. I don't think that's ever going to just happen. It's just going to happen upon it. Let me ask you this. If 3 numbers average to be 10, let's just say. If 3 numbers average to be 10, do you know anything about any of the numbers?
Total will be 30.
Yes, that's all. You don't know anything about each number, but you know they have to add to be 30. Right? Because how do you calculate an average? You add them up, divide by 3 in this case. What's the only number you divide by 3 to get 10? 30. So I know they have to add up to be 30. In this case, 3 numbers average to be 80, so I know they have to add up to be 240. And look at the first step of the algebra. What's the first thing you do to solve this thing? What's the worst part of this equation is the fact that there's a fraction. How do you kill that fraction? Multiply by 3. Bam. So you get 81 plus 72, 153 plus X equals 240. And then you just subtract 153, and you get 87. Kick ass. All right. Now here's something. The way I would do this problem, I wouldn't use algebra at all. Just because I'm a math teacher and I love algebra, I know that it's not always the best tool. Now there's not a damn thing wrong with this. This is beautiful. Little tear. But I want to show you something you might not have ever thought about. So we got this part? You guys got this? Okay, so let me see. I've got 81, 72, and some unknown grade, right? And I want them to average to be 80. Well, this test right here, I'm up 1 so far. Do you guys see that? When I get to this test, I'm down 8. So overall, I'm down 7. So the last test better be up 7 to overcome that. So 87. Yes? Maybe? That's kind of nifty. Is it useful to go to the freaking store and buy lettuce? Do you have to know the shit? Of course not. That's why I always hate that kind of objection to math. Could you use some idea like this somewhere? You never know, right? But this is kind of nifty. You guys see that? Do you have to be able to do that? No. You can do it the other way. It's beautiful. We got the answer. Okay, I like it. Maybe, maybe, maybe. This idea, believe it or not, this exact problem is going to come up later this semester. I like it. So any questions from that whole warm-up sheet? Anybody? All right. You guys doing all right so far? I know it's like the second day of this class. It's probably the 4th day of class for most of us, right? Anybody only have Tuesday, Thursday classes? I understand, believe me. Are you here for how long? 4 classes on Tuesday, okay. Thursday, all right. That I understand.
Just your class.
So what? Just my class? Ooh. Oh, and they got some Monday, Wednesday? I got you. All right. Anybody have questions from homework? There is a certain homework question that if nobody asks me it, I'm concerned. Because normally that means nobody's doing it.
So I want to. No, it's fine.
What's up?
No, it's fine. Because you already did it. It's fine.
So if you could ask in the 6th class, or you can always come to my office. Yeah. So if there's anything like on that warm-up sheet you have trouble with, you want to come see me. I've got all kinds of freaking handouts related to each problem on that warm-up sheet from other classes I've taught. So I am a resource. Anybody use? I know I put my YouTube videos up. But I'm sure some of you guys are going to be like, good Lord, I don't want to listen to them any more than they have to already. Anybody ever found a YouTube help video series that you like somebody? So what you do is you go to YouTube, you type in finding the average or whatever. And then you see all these options. And some of them are going to be complete shit. Right? You're going to click on it. They're going to know it. Oh my God, no. And then you find somebody you like, and then you go to their channel and see what else they got, right? I mean, you know, I don't want to be little old man, but back in my day, we didn't have no YouTubes. So, but now you got this YouTubes, and you got, I don't know, it's not YouTube, on the internet. And you have this amazing, I mean, MIT puts its courses out, all the videos of the courses out for everybody to see. It's insane. I'm not sure if you want to watch an MIT stats course, but I don't know what that is. You can take a look. But if you find some good resources, you can always let me know, and I can post it up on the website for everybody. Anybody ever use Khan Academy, for example? That's one of the main ones. Yeah. Khan, where you only see his hands. All right. But it's not Khan. No, it's different. Oh, let me do this. There is that one. I'm going to ask a question for you. And it's number 44. All right, so this little section of homework right here. I'd fit in there. Okay. All right. Anybody done this yet? Yeah. So I signed, I think, 44, the one about the cardiologist and the heart attacks. So I'm going to do 42, just to show you an example of what this problem really wants from me. Because what I did is, you guys see how this question, of course I filled part of this, but identify the population, the sample, the parameter, the statistic, the variable, and the data. And they want you to identify all of those. So somebody will just write F next to one of them. No. Answer A, B, C, D for each of those. You have to answer all of those. What is exceptionally weird about that? Try to fit it all in there. What is really weird about it is it seems like they don't give you enough information. And they don't, which is, one reason why I love this problem, because I'm evil. Notice the last thing it says is give examples where appropriate. This is the kind of problem, I wouldn't necessarily give this problem on a quiz or a test, but I love this for the homework. So a fitness center, let's look at the first one. The fitness center is interested in the mean amount of time that a client exercises in the center each week, right? Anybody go to the gym? If you ever go to the gym, do you guys, no matter what time, do you see the same people sometimes? Freaks me out. Anyway, sorry. I'm like, I'm never here at this time. You're here, the same guy. Anyway, sorry. I don't know what to make of it. So you have to answer all of those for each problem. They don't give you some of these things, which is why it says give examples. So what would the population be? Yes?
The people that go to the fitness center.
Oh, cool. So the people that belong to the fitness center.
Yeah.
Which people?
I decided a particular time.
No. Now you're getting too specific. I want you to be less specific. So real quick, if I said next door are motorcycle riders, right? Can you see that in your head? If I said next door there are all motorcycle riders, is that a different vision in your head? The first one you saw maybe 6 people, and now you're trying to imagine them fitting in the room next door, all riders across the world. No. So when you identify the population, you have to be really clear that you mean all of them. So let me try it again. What's the population for this number? 42. All clients of the fitness center. I love it. Don't say exercising, because do people belong to fitness centers and never go? So check off that resolution. I joined a gym. Thankfully I wasn't that more specific, right? You with me? A little bit? Yes? So if you don't use the word all on the population, or something that references all, you're going to lose points, because then I don't know which people. Are you being specific? No, be very non-specific, just all of them. So the population would be all the clients of this fitness center. What's the sample going to be? This is where you can use an example if you want to. What's a sample in general? What's the definition we did last time? Subset of the population. It doesn't have to be random. You can have a suck-ass sample and it's still a sample, right? Random is what you really want, so you can trust your results. But a sample is just a subgroup of the population, right? You guys with me? So you could, for the sample, say it's a subgroup of the clients of the fitness center. And that's kind of boring, but what the hell? Or you could say 78 randomly selected clients from the fitness center. Are you guys with me? And that's an example you can give that you kind of made up on yourself, but it makes me aware that you know what that means. Yes?
Did you say all people that work out in the morning, or is that too specific?
Way too specific, because then you can't trust the results of your analysis. So if your sample only has people that work out in the morning, that almost has to mean that your population was just all the people that work out in the morning. I like it. So if I was trying to say something about the U.S., and my sample was people that came from Wyoming, I made a mistake almost definitely, right? If I just randomly pick Americans and I get 800 people from Wyoming, somebody messed up. You guys see that? Okay, maybe. Let's see. What's the parameter? What does parameter mean again?
Numerically describes the population.
Say again?
It numerically describes the
Beautiful.
population.
It's a numerical description of the population. Now, you don't have to give a number here, right? But what would the parameter be? What is the parameter in general? It's a percentage. It's a mean. It's some analysis that I do after I get the data. So what would the parameter be here? What is the parameter I'm interested in? In fact, yeah, go ahead, sorry. Is the parameter percentage? Is the parameter a mean? An average? Yes, right? So the parameter is the mean amount of time that all clients work out each week in the center, right? You guys with me? Why do I have to be really careful to say all clients? Because the parameter has to describe the population. So whatever you wrote for the population, you got to make sure the parameter references that. So what the statistic is going to sound almost exactly what I just said. The statistic and the parameter are the same damn thing. It's just the parameter talks about everybody. The statistic talks about the sample. So if you use the example I gave, the statistic would be the mean amount of time that the 78 randomly selected clients worked out each week. Or however you put the sample, that's what you want to reference in your statistic answer. Are you guys with me? Don't make more of this than it is. Parameters got to have reference the population. Statistics got to reference the sample. You got to love that. Okay, I like it. The variable. What? Somebody remember what's the variable related to? The question you ask. So if you get your group of 78 people together, what are you going to go around and ask each one of them?
How long do you exercise?
Yeah, how long do you exercise each week? So the variable would be the amount of time a client exercises each week. Yes? All right? So the variable is related to the question you would ask. And of course, the data would be answers you get. So that's definitely where you have to give examples for F. What's some example data points you would get as a response? An hour a week. Whew. 6 hours. Somebody else is like, 80 hours I live there. Well, shit. You're that guy I see every damn time I go in. Are you guys, does this make more sense? I don't know if you've tried this problem out. Sometimes after I talk about it, people come and get their work back. Like, oh shit, I did that wrong. Yes, you guys good with that? Okay, so I'm trying to help you out. That's a question that I should get, because that question is a little weird. Is there anything else from homework before I move on past it? All right, and everybody's able to find the homework, right? Do not come to me in week 7 and say, by the way, I haven't found the homework yet. Shut, because that has happened. Okay. All right, so we still need to finish up chapter 1. That'll work, I think. So I think the last thing we did was we did qualitative and quantitative, right? Let's try to make this better. This is the one failing of this room, is this. So we do this without killing the camera. Sleep. You sleep. Sleep. Okay. So remind me, what was qualitative? Qualitative. Categorical. Quality, right? And then, of course, quantitative. Truly numerical, right? Numbers that normally measurements are definitely in there. Okay, I like it. So the Q's should be easy. 2 Q's. So let's break it down even further. 4 levels of measurement. This is the first time you see me write. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. All right. So there's 4 levels. The first 2 levels are, for the most part, qualitative, and the last 2 levels are quantitative. Every level gets more complex. So when I ask you what level of measurement is this, you give me the highest level it gets to. All right, so let's see what the hell these are. The very first, most basic level is nominal. The biggest mistake I see is people think that references number. No. Anybody ever heard the phrase plume de nom? It's very freaky. Maybe? Plume de nom, pen name. Anybody like Stephen King novels? Anybody? Okay, a few of you guys. All right. Have you ever read Richard Bachman? Richard Bachman is Stephen King. That was his pen name when he first started writing. So if you love Stephen King, read some freaking Richard Bachman. That's some good shit. Young Stephen King, brimming with creativity, right? Anyway, sorry. For the rest of you guys that don't give a shit about Stephen King, nominal is name data, and that's it. It's just names. So I know it's kind of weird to say level of measurement, and the first thing is a name, but that's like the 0 level of measurement. It's like the baseline. Just call it something. So this is name data. And that's related to the root word is a French word, nom, plume de nom, name. All right, I love it. The next level is still names, but it adds in that they want to be in a certain order, which is beautiful because the name of it is ordinal. Kind of gives it away, order. So what the hell am I talking about? Have you guys ever done faculty evaluations? Yes? And you have to fill in the bubble. What's it say above the bubbles? It says strongly, I can't remember which order it's in. Strongly disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree, right? Well, if you started filling one of those out and you looked at the top and you realized it says agree, neutral, strongly disagree, strongly, you go, what the shit are you guys doing, right? Wouldn't you be a little like, what the hell? Why is this out of order? Aren't they supposed to be in the most disagreement to the most agreement and be in order? That's what I mean. Those are all names of how you feel, but they're more than just nominal because there's an order they want to be in. So for ordinal, there's an inherent, it adds in an inherent order. You guys know what the word inherent means? It's inside, it's a part of what it is. So there's no inherent order to car names. If I went out to a parking lot and just started listing cars, and if I said Hyundai, BMW, you wouldn't go, wait a minute, BMW's before you. No, it doesn't have to be, does it? Right? It doesn't have to be in order. Can you put them in order? Yeah. Does it have to be? No. So inherent means the data itself. It's in the data. It wants to be in a certain order to make sense. How are we doing so far? So this would be any kind of ranking, right? How many stars do you give this movie? That's a ordinal, right? Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, so these two are, hopefully it's obvious, these two are the qualitative types, right? The next two are going to be the quantitative types. So let me put them both down here. This one's called interval. And this one's called ratio. By the way, just to warn you guys, I don't always do this. Today is going to be me talking a lot. Yay! Next Tuesday, I'm going to have like a review sheet that's going to cover everything we've done up through today. Because next Thursday, we're going to have a quiz. Right, might as well put that up there. Quiz. Thursday, a week from today. Chapter 1 through section 2.2 with the shit. Yep. All right. We got names. If they have some order they want to be in, this ordinal. Then we have these two are going to be the truly numerical things. Somebody remind me, what's an interval in algebra? Do you guys remember interval notation or even just what the word interval means? How would you use it in English? Either one of those things. Anybody remember interval in algebra? How would you describe an interval from algebra? Points. Say it. Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. So it's kind of like starts somewhere and ends somewhere. Right? So an interval could be from 7, 8, right? With parentheses around it, possibly. You guys remember that? Or the bracket? Anybody remember? Or how do you use it in English? Well, in the interval of time between when I was 8 and 12, I enjoyed going to the pond. Whatever, right? So an interval has a beginning and an end. Yes? Yes? So an interval has a length. So if it was from 8 to 12, how long is that? How long from 8 to 12? 4. What operation did you just use? Subtraction. 12 minus 8. So interval is data where subtraction makes sense. So if you had somebody's credit card number and you subtracted your credit card number from it, would you get an answer? Yes. Would your answer mean something? Nope. If you had a zip code and you subtracted somebody else's zip code, you'd get a number. Would it mean something? One semester I had 3 people from the women's basketball team. And I said, if you subtract your jersey number from your jersey number, it doesn't mean something. And they're like, no, you get Michelle. It's 16, 14, and she was 2. I'm like, shit. But jersey numbers, if you subtract 2 jersey numbers, you get a number, but does it mean anything? No. Right? You guys see what I'm saying? So those are all names. They're not really numerical because I can't do anything numerical with them. They're just names. So subtraction, not only can you do it, it has to make sense. So for example, what year were you born?
2001.
2001. Shit. Sorry. I was born, nothing wrong with 2000, well, a lot wrong with 2000, but so, hopefully you weren't September. Okay. I was born 1972. Yeah. So if you subtracted 2001 minus 1972, do you get a number? Yes. Does the number mean something?
Yes.
Yes, it means how much older I am, right? How much longer I've been roaming the earth. You guys with me?
Yeah.
So therefore, year of birth would be an example of interval data. Because subtraction actually makes sense. Not just can you do it, but does it make sense? So an example here would be year of birth. Year of anything, really. Year that you learn how to drive a car, whatever. Okay. I like it. So what the hell is ratio then? Well, you know already. What's ratio reference? What operation? Division. There's 2 things here, though, for ratio. So the first one is straight up division has to make sense. So watch, this is why year of birth is not ratio. If I divide 2001 by 1972, do you get a number? Yes. Does that number mean anything? Nope, don't mean shit. I get a number, doesn't mean a damn thing. You guys semi with me? And really the reason it doesn't mean anything is the second thing up here is 0 needs to mean what it's supposed to mean. So if somebody was tallying something and they put a 0, what does that mean? That there were none of those things.